Hey guys, MichaelBtheGameGenie here. Thank you so very much for watching, and happy Friday. We've got some big news to share with you in today's video, as we finally have a projected release date for the Arcade1Up Deluxe Cabs here in Canada, so we will find out officially when those bad boys should be hitting Canadian soils. On top of that, New Wave Toys announced their next release in the Replicade line of cabinets, and a lot of people had guessed wrong based on the teaser image they had shown, as it's actually released from Capcom. And last but not least, iRcade has finally released a shooter for the cabinet, but unfortunately it's not a shooter in the bang bang sense, it's another shoot 'em up. But instead of it being a classic arcade game, this time it's a modern shooter that came out about 4 years ago that looks like it'd be a perfect fit for an arcade cabinet. And we're going to tell you more about all those things right after this. So that's right, we got a ton of stuff to cover in this week's Friday News Blast with the potential release date of the Arcade1Up Deluxe Cabinets here in Canada, New Wave Toys announcing the next release in the Replicade line of products, and of course a new modern shooter coming to the iRcade home arcade platform. But before we get into that, I want to say thank you so much everybody for checking out the video. Guys, I always appreciate the support, and if this is your first time to the channel and you like what you see, go ahead, subscribe. Click the bell for notifications, all that YouTube jazz. So today, guys, iRcade announced Rigid Force Redux was going to be coming to the iRcade home arcade console, and this is another shoot 'em up in an already stacked library of shoot 'em up. This is a modern shoot 'em up with awesome visuals, great music, and it looks like it'll be a perfect fit on the iRcade platform. While I know a lot of you are probably disappointed because you're sitting there with your itchy trigger fingers and your purchased Sinden light guns waiting for Operation Wolf or another light gun game to come to the system, especially after we got the update last week that enabled light gun support, we in fact got a shooter, but it wasn't the kind of shooter you guys were hoping for. This is another shoot 'em up on a cabinet that's notorious for having an excellent library of shoot 'em ups, and this is a modern shoot 'em up. So the price tag on this is a little bit high, coming in at $14.99 for an iRcade game, but that is in line with what they typically charge for more modern games. However, as of today, it's currently on sale for 25% off, so you can pick it up for $11.24, which puts it right around what the average price of the retro classic shoot 'em ups usually come in at. They're either $7.99 or $9.99 depending on quality and the publisher. So for me, this was an easy decision. I picked it up. Let's go down and take a look at some of the images from the game. There is the graphic art they put in, but I mean, just look at how beautiful it is, the rendered graphics, the shading, everything looks awesome. I haven't had a chance to play it yet myself, but I am very impressed so far with the look of this game. You guys know I've always said this. I think iRcade is a platform that can do anything. If you want retro games, they do have those. If for some reason you want ColecoVision games, they included those too for some goddamn reason. But for me, I'm looking for more modern experiences and really pushing the hardware, and that's what this game looks to do for me. So I'm excited to see another excellent shoot 'em up come to the platform, and especially now, one that uses modern graphics, modern music, and really pushes the system to its limits. It gives me something visually stunning to look at on the console. So Rigid Force Redux is this week's iRcade game release on the store, and while it's not the bang bang pew pew you might have been looking for, this game looks like a winner and one you should consider picking up. Next up, I want to talk about New Wave Toys. As you guys know, I've become a huge fan of New Wave Toys Replicade line in the last little while, as I've got my hands on the Missile Command cabinet, the Dragon's Lair X Replicade Overhaul Edition, Food Fight, and I went back and also got a 1942 cabinet. Well, we got a teaser the other day showing us an outline of what the new cabinet would be, and there were tons of guesses, but when the actual official announcement was made, I don't think anybody saw this one coming. So if you guys follow New Wave Toys on Twitter, and let's be honest, if you like Home Arcade and exact replica products, you probably should be following them if you have the Twitter platform. New Wave Toys posted this teaser image the other day talking about the next release in their, I think it was Wave 2 of the Replicade line of cabinets, and it had everybody guessing what it could be. You take a look here at some of the guesses, you'll see people saying Primal Rage, other people making other guesses. Right here, someone guessed Double Dragon, which was an interesting guess, and a lot of people were like me and saying, man, that looks an awful lot like a either Midway or Williams cabinet. Could this be Robotron? And I, in fact, told everybody I would poop everywhere if it was Robotron. Well, Wednesday, we got an official reveal, and I didn't have to poop everywhere. So guys, on Wednesday, New Wave Toys announced that their next release in the Replicade line would in fact be a combination, much like what they did with their last Capcom release for 1942 and 1943. We're getting Ghosts and Goblins and Ghouls and Ghosts. Now, a lot of people have been patiently waiting for Arcade1Up to make some kind of Ghosts and Goblins or Ghouls and Ghosts cabinet, all the way back to a leaked image of a Partycade, or I think it was actually a Countercade, years ago, showing that awesome Ghosts and Goblins artwork. We never got it. First up to bat to actually get this out to consumers is in fact New Wave Toys. So guys, as you can see, the presale ends in 21 days, 5 hours, 33 minutes, and 52 seconds. If you want to get a little 1/6 scale Replicade cabinet, play as Arthur, and absolutely frustrate the shit out of yourself in one of these very, very challenging home arcade games. Now, while I do say that both cabinets are absolutely beautiful, this is your classic Capcom cabinet, and Capcom kind of cheaped out with the cabinets because everything was a conversion kit. So what they gave you was like an awesome control panel, awesome marquee, awesome bezel art, but on the side, all you got was like a little sticker to stick on the cabinet and be like, yeah, that's a Capcom game. You can always tell a Capcom game in the arcade because the side art kind of sucks. It's just a sticker. Anyways, let's take a look at some of these cabinets here. We've got Ghosts and Goblins X Replicade, Ghouls and Ghosts X Replicade, and then you can also get the G&G Collector's Choice, bundle of one each, for $311.99. So let's go in, take a look at the cabinet. Woo, there we go. Ghosts and Goblins. This one, the key features that are interesting on this, you can always coin in with the light up buttons on the front, but this one actually features a new coin op feature. So you know how Replicade always give you the little replica coins. You can actually put them into the slot to coin into the game, and it actually comes with a cool little coin collector box. Just like if you bought a real arcade, there's the goodie box or coin box found in the cabinet where all the quarters would fall. Now, some other concerns about this, and I say concerns, is they mention a new reflection reduction technology, and I don't know what this is, but of course, I've been pretty critical since Missile Command, and I haven't opened my Food Fight yet, but I know the Food Fight have it as well. They have that concave lens over the screen to try to recreate the look of a CRT TV, which I think is awesome, but unfortunately, it's a screen filtering option that you don't have any choice on. It's there, and it is super reflective too, where you notice yourself in the picture, other stuff in the image, and it makes it a little bit harder to see the screen itself. So they're saying new reflection reduction technology. So obviously we're getting the concave screen again. Hopefully it's a little bit better. And then of course they're also including a new mini faux power cable. That's kind of interesting too. New Wave Toys go out of their way to make sure these cabinets are as close to the original as possible. Their attention to detail amazes even me, and I'm a person that appreciates a high attention to detail with these replica arcade cabinets. And then on top of that, you get to play both classic arcade titles regardless of which cabinet you buy. So you get to choose not based on the game itself, but based on the cabinet you prefer. So you can either get the wacky and beautiful Ghosts and Goblins cabinet or the little bit more stylish Ghouls and Ghosts cabinet. It's really up to you. You get to play both arcade classics on the cabinet. Me personally, I was surprised by this release. Now, I say surprised, but not disappointed. Of course, I think it's an interesting cabinet to release. It's beautiful. It's an arcade oddity. I mean, these cabinets you don't see everywhere, and when you do, they are kind of awe-inspiring. So I totally know why they went with it. I think we were all expecting something a little different here. We were expecting something from the Midway line. So I know a lot of people might have been disappointed, but this is still a super cool release and a super difficult game. So we'll see how well it does. I'm interested. Let me know in the comments down below, guys. Are you going to be picking up a Ghosts and Goblins or a Ghouls and Ghosts, or possibly both with the collector's edition? Let me know in the comments below what you're going to be doing, or maybe you're going to pass, and, you know, let me know why. Last but not least, I want to talk about this subject, and it's probably not for you guys in North America. This is more for us Arcade1Up Canadian fans. So for the last little while, we've been patiently waiting for the deluxe cabs to come, and I have some maybe bad news for Arcade1Up Canadian fans here. Ever since CES 2023, when we first saw the announcement for the new Arcade1Up Deluxe Cabinets featuring a new design, new features, and of course, riserless, which makes Charlie Chuck and everybody else happy, we've been patiently waiting for these to be released to the public. Of course, we saw the port data in the US. We know they're coming any day now, but as for those of us here in Canada, it's not so clear on when we will receive them. So guys, as you can see here on the Arcade1Up website, we've got the 3 deluxe cabs. They actually announced 4, but it looks like Miss Pac-Man, for the time being, has mysteriously disappeared. We know, much like last year, she'll probably come out the same time they release the Capcom Legacy. Legacy means deluxe. Capcom Deluxe Cab in the very near future. That's when we'll see Miss Pac-Man. Obviously, they didn't want to flood the market, having a class of 81 and a Miss Pac-Man at the same time, confusing potential buyers. So it should be coming soon. You guys in North America, we've heard on Arcade1 Update, these cabs are coming any day now. Expect them to be announced on Arcade1Up directly, and then shortly after through Arcade1Up supported retailers, the places where you normally buy them. But what about us here in Canada? So far, there hasn't been much noise about retailers showing pre-orders, anything like that. So when are we getting them in Canada? Can we expect to receive them at the same time as the people in the US? Now, if you're already a member of the Arcade1Up Canadian fan page, you probably already know the answer to this. But if you're not a member of the Arcade1Up Canadian fan page and you turn into YouTube videos like mine to find out information on when cabs will be available, I'm unfortunately giving you some very bad news today. As you can see in this post from my buddy Steve Victoria, better known as Stevie's Man Cave Arcade on YouTube, he reaches out to somebody by the name of Arlene Gower. Now, Arlene is the person responsible for the brick here in Canada for bringing in the Arcade1Up products, and she actually has a good presence on the Canadian fan page, letting us know updates on when we can expect to see cabs and when potentially sales may be coming up on specific cabs. So he reaches out to Arlene and asks, when can we expect to see the deluxe cabs reach the shores here in Canada? And I've kind of been alluding to this because I've heard from Arlene already in the fan page, but she goes on to indicate that no luck pulling inventory from the US. That was the thing. She tried her best to get some additional inventory in from the US early for us hardcore Arcade1Up fans, but unfortunately it didn't happen. But hearing they should be arriving in June, July, so much later than what everybody else is going to be getting, because it's pretty clear that the people in the US are getting them into March, early April, so we've got to wait an additional 2-3 months to get our hands on them, and even then it's usually a little bit later than that. We may be into August before we receive them here. Pretty sure they will be in the $6.99 range, $6.99 ballpark. Now, when the last set of Legacy cabs came out, they were $6.49, so we're seeing a $50 increase, which kind of sucks. The Legacy lines last year were $4.99 in the US. The increase was, $150. It looks like the markup this time is going to be at a full $200. So while that sucks, the lateness of them really super sucks, because if anybody out there is a YouTuber and you wanted to make content on these deluxe cabs, you know, to make information for people out there, for people to make a decision on whether or not they should buy these Arcade1Up cabs, most of the reviews are all going to be out for about 2 to 3 months at that point, and the timeliness of your video kind of takes away from the effect. Now, I'm not saying this for me personally. I'm not sure I'm going to buy any of the deluxe cabs right now, but for other people that want to do this, keep in mind that there will be an impact on the amount of views and amount of traction your video gets, just because of the timeliness here in Canada of these coming out much later. Now, most people are saying, I don't give a shit, I'm not a YouTuber. And that's fine, man. Sorry I threw that in there. Anyways, it looks like we are going to have to wait 2, 3, maybe 4 months later than the people in the US to get our hands on these cabinets in Canada. And we really only have 2 choices here. We can either wait until they're available through our normal retailers, or you can buy them directly from Arcade1Up when they become available. However, keep in mind, you're going to be paying anywhere from an extra $150 to $200 shipping US, and then on top of that, you're also going to pay your tax, which you would have paid anyways, but also duty fees. So expect to pay anywhere from $200 to $300 additionally to get your cabs early directly from Arcade1Up. I say this once, I say this again. My God, if Arcade1Up could figure out some kind of special Canadian shipping like every other company, iRcade, New Wave Toys, MBSX, figured out a way to do special Canadian shipping. If Arcade1Up can do it, it would be amazing. So unless you're willing to pay that amount, unfortunately, you're going to have to wait until mid to late summer to finally get your hands on these deluxe cabs. Anyways, guys, that's all I wanted to share with you guys this Friday. We've got a new Wave Toys release coming out. Ghosts and Goblins, Ghouls and Ghosts, pretty cool. Let me know if you're going to be picking them up. iRcade has a modern shoot 'em up at a sale price right now. Let me know if you're excited that they're going to be bringing this out. Is this the kind of game you want to buy on the console? And if you're going to be picking it up. And last but not least, Canadian fans, I'm afraid I've got some bad news. The deluxe cabs aren't going to be coming out until mid to late summer, and they're going to be coming out at a price point of $6.99. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in this week. This is Michael B. the Game Genie, and I'll talk to you next time.